Hey YouTube, this is Alexander and I'm back with another tech video. If you couldn't tell by the title, this is my Android 4.2 review and overview on my Nexus 4. So the first thing I'll be talking about, which I can't really demonstrate because it's only available on tablets, is the multiple user accounts. So to enable this, if you're on the Nexus 10, and I believe the Nexus 7 has this as well, you're just going to go ahead and go into settings, scroll down to personal, I believe it's in the personal, and it'll say users. You click users and you can add users. It's very similar to Windows, how you can have multiple users on the same device and their settings will be saved. I believe it'll have their games and game info, different things like that. So if you have maybe a family who uses one tablet, you guys will all be able to have your own personal information on each section. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to cover is the new lock screen. In Android 4.2, there is no longer the same, you do not get to the camera and Google Now the same way. This is my Nexus S over here on the right, and we have Google Now. You swipe up to get to Google Now, the left is the camera and the right is to unlock. In Android 4.2, Google has went ahead and changed that, and if you want to unlock, you can just unlock it in any direction. If you want to get to Google Now, much like when you have the home button on the screen, how you swipe up to get to Google Now, you do have that on the lock screen. It's now sort of like a ring of dots that make a circle, and you just go ahead and swipe that up and you can get to Google Now. Now I'll go ahead and go over some improvements to Google Now later on in the video, so I won't actually swipe up and get to Google Now, but that's how you get to it from the lock screen. And then to get to the camera, you just swipe over from the edge of the display. It's sort of tricky because if you try from the middle, nothing will happen. So you kind of have to glide your finger over from the very edge of the display and you'll get to your camera. So there's how you get to the camera from the lock screen, and again I will go over the camera a little later in the video. So let's get to the widgets. If you tap the clock, you get this sort of, I'm not sure really what it is, but it sort of fades into the back and you can unlock your device. If you drag that down, you can get the little lock screen button to become small, and you push that and it'll allow you to unlock the device again. Swipe to the left and you have all your widgets that you can access, or that you can add, sorry. You can add your calendar, your digital clock, Gmail, messaging, and sound search. So if I want to put a sound search widget, you have your sound search right there, and then you scroll back, so you got your camera, you have your lock screen, and then you have like what's this. So if you want to go ahead and quickly tap a song that you hear somewhere, you can go ahead and do that just straight from the lock screen. Now I would like to mention, I have seen videos that mention, for example, let me pull this away. If you have your Gmail on your lock screen, if you have your Gmail on your lock screen, you can access it if you aren't, signed in. If you have a security key code or passcode that you're supposed to enter, there is a way to get around it. All you do is swipe to the left, because you haven't actually needed to unlock the screen, that you can still get access to these widgets with all this information, all this email. So that's just one thing to take note of if you're planning on using these widgets, is just make sure you go ahead and check out if you can access them without actually unlocking the device. So that was pretty much it for widgets, and then they just the same way you want to get rid of them, or sorry, if you want to switch them around, you can just go ahead and move them around, or you can get rid of them just like that, and we'll fling up. So that was the lock screen. The next thing I want to talk about is just something real short in the settings under display. We now have a wireless display, so I know it's really small, but if you want to go ahead and enable wireless display, it will. Oh, you need Wi-Fi on? Sorry. You turn on your Wi-Fi, go down to display, and you can wirelessly transfer whatever's on this display to, I believe, a TV screen. So that's kind of handy if you like using wireless display technology, I guess. The next thing I'd like to go over is, again in the settings, it's Daydream, and it's also under the display. What you'll do is there's a little section for Daydream. You just click that, and you have all these options to toggle what you want to Daydream, what the screen is going to look like when Daydream is enabled. This is much like, again, a screensaver, in that you can have the clock, then you can have you have your settings for night mode or in the style of the clock. You have bean flinger, so start now. Bean flinger it'll be like a screensaver if your phone is plugged in and charging. You can go ahead and just play with those while it's charging if you really want to. You can have colors in the Daydream, so this will all happen while it's charging. You can select when to Daydream, while it's docked, while charging, or either one. I just have it while it's charging so that I don't have a dock. You can have currents, some photos, displaying, and just a photo table. So I just have clock. It looks really nice when it's charging. You just kind of get a little clock, and then if you, for example, leave your phone on the display on, and you have your timeout. I have it set to 30 seconds. So in 30 seconds, instead of going to lock, what it's going to do is it's going to go to the clock, the Daydream. And so all you have to do is tap the screen and you'll get back to whatever you're doing. Now, I'm not sure how that works if you have a lock screen set up, but I would imagine, hopefully it would lock the device, but Daydream will still be able to play. So just go ahead and check that out if you're concerned. If you leave it on for 30 seconds and you don't have a passcode, somebody will be able to get back in your stuff, and possibly even if you do have a passcode. So the next quick mention I want to make is about Project Butter. Now, I know when I went over this in my 4.1 review on my Nexus S, and I do know that it was added in 4.1 and this is 4.2, but I just want to tell you guys this is sort of more towards the Nexus 4 than anything else, but Project Butter just makes this device just flies. It's so fast. Project Butter on the Nexus S made the Nexus S a lot faster than Gingerbread and Ice Cream Sandwich, and even more so with this quad-core Snapdragon S4 processor at 1.5 gigahertz. Project Butter, it's still doing its thing, making everything fast, and that's pretty much all I have to say about Project Butter for 4.2. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is Google Now. Google Now has been improved. Of course, you'll still get your sports stuff, your weather if you'd like to. Pull this away real fast. But if you want to, you can have. Whoops. But if we go into settings, you have Google Now settings, and you now have a lot more settings. I believe they've added. I might be wrong, so you can correct me down in the description, of course. But I believe they added movies. So when you're nearby, you get cards about different movies that are playing. Stocks is one that they added. News updates. When there's nearby photo spots, so if you're at a place that you don't go to regularly, maybe you're in another country or another city, it'll let you know when there's good photo spots nearby. When there's concerts nearby you for any type of frequently searched artist, your birthdays, it'll remind you, and then you have your new Gmail cards. So if you go ahead and you receive like receipts or package information, hotel confirmations, restaurants, event bookings, flights, in your email, you'll be able to go ahead and take a look at Google Now, and it'll have all of that information in a nice card without having to actually, for example, when you order something on Amazon, they'll send you a little confirmation email. Gmail will try to take that confirmation number and it will try to put it in a card for you. So instead of having to actually click that number and go look at it, it'll have it all right there for you in Google Now, which is really handy. And then you just have your standard notifications such as ringtone. If we go back, voice, nothing really new here. You do still have the download offline speech recognition, so that when you aren't online, you can still use your voice to dictate text. And then just phone search, what you'd like to search on your phone when you're doing a search. The camera has been greatly improved, so I'll go ahead and again, just to reference, get you my Nexus S. I did go back, if you have been watching my videos, I did go back to the Android 4.1 camera, just because I installed CyanogenMod 10 and I haven't been able to put the new camera on here yet. But this is the 4.1 camera, so you kind of see you have that black bar at the bottom, and that the interface. You can see how that interface looks. In Android 4.2, they do have a much different interface. There's no longer, it's pretty much edge to edge for the as far as the camera goes. And if you want to get to your options, you can hold anywhere on the screen. Sorry, I know my light's kind of. If you want to get to the options, you can hold anywhere on the screen, and you have your settings down here. What you want your video quality to be, time lapse, and store location. you have your auto white, or your white balance, I'm sorry, whether you have the flash on or off, and then the front facing camera. And then in the in the camera mode, you have HDR, which is a nice feature. I took some pictures with HDR and I've published them or sent them, to Google Plus and stuff. So if you follow me, you've seen them. You can check out the change of picture size, scene mode, store location. You have your your white balance, same, your flash and everything. And these options can also be accessed from this little circle down here. So if you, for whatever reason, just don't wanna or can't look at your settings from here, you can always just tap them from here and, for example, just switch to front facing camera. So next thing we'll go ahead and take a look at it is you still have panorama mode, still the same. You either go right to left or left to right. I haven't tried it in portrait mode, but I imagine, yep, you can do it in portrait mode. I don't know if that was there before, but you can. So we'll go ahead and X that. And you now have the photosphere, which is a step up from panorama. It's sort of like panorama on steroids. You're just going to go ahead and align the camera with those dots, and it'll go ahead and stitch together a bunch of pictures. Now, if you saw my Nexus S with the 4.2 apps, you'll already have seen this in my channel, or if you watch any other videos that talk about 360 panorama. So I know this is a really bad example, but if you're on Google Plus and you have me, you've seen different pictures that I posted with this and of my Nexus S, as well as a video that I made about the camera. So there's a whole video dedicated to just the camera on this thing. So again, it's really horrible, but here's a picture that I took with the camera. This is non-HDR, I believe, and this is, I'm sorry, this is HDR. I know it's kind of hard to tell because my iPod is the one recording, but that's an HDR photo and that's a non-HDR photo. The HDR, I noticed, seems to make it a little bit more dim, or not as bright. So that was the panorama and that was the new camera. Okay, so the last thing I want to mention is the keyboard. The keyboard has been improved, and again, if you've seen my Nexus S video with the 4.2 apps, you'll already have seen this, but we have the new gesture typing, which is similar to swipe. You can just go ahead and swipe the quick brown fox. I like to eat. No, that's not what I like to eat. Chocolate. So let me see if I can. Okay, there. I like to eat chocolate. There we go. So you have the new swipe. I find it to be really useful in situations where I just want to hurry up and get a quick text sent, and I don't really want to have to hunt and peck. This is really useful, and for me, it's been easier to use than swipe. I have tried swipe, and for whatever reason, it's just a lot easier to use. And of course, you still have the little voice to text transcription mode. So there aren't a whole lot of new features in this Android version, just because it's more of an incremental update that adds some features. But if you like this video, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Like the video, subscribe for more. My Nexus 4 review will be coming soon, along with speed tests on T-Mobile's HSPA Plus 42 megabits per second network and quadrant standard benchmarks on this guy. I don't know if any of you are interested in seeing a comparison of Android 4.1 or the Nexus S to the Nexus 4. Go ahead and let me know. I might go ahead and do one of those. So that was pretty much it. If you guys have anything else to mention, again, just leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.